How you doing, brother?
I'm blessed and breathing, man. How about yourself?
Oh man, same, man. Just blessed to be alive and blessed to be on here with you, brother. Appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you joining us. So let me go ahead and give you a warm welcome for those that don't know. All right, this brother right here, let me just say, is tapping into a bit of all of our childhood. Right, we was youngsters when a lot of this, music that you putting out here for the world to, I guess, to see the behind the scenes story about, was being made. Right, some of your favorite artists from Ja Rule to my baby Ashanti. She's got an affinity. She's in my heart. But so many more folks, a lot of influential people came through this label, and I'm so happy you're bringing this story to all of us, man. Y'all make some noise for Michael J Payton from Oakland, the brother who directed the Murder Inc. documentary that is now airing on BET. What's up, man?
What up with you, brother? Man, how you doing, man? We might have to fight over Ashanti. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh, bro, I'm ready to tussle. You feel me? But I ain't gonna lie, baby boy, baby too Mackie for that. You know what I'm
No,
talking
we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. You know what I mean? We do it. You know what I mean?
about?
Town
Right.
business, baby.
So how'd you even
Yeah.
get in on this on this entire documentary, man? Talk about it.
Man, so back in 2019 or 18, I did a unauthorized documentary on Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. I was in my dorm room at NYU.
Yeah.
I was at grad school. I recently graduated from SF State from my undergrad, then I went on to grad school at NYU. And I sat in there, because I've always been a content creator and a filmmaker. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna take it upon myself to make this doc because ain't nobody else doing it. Let me do it. Did it myself, put it up on YouTube. It went crazy viral. And about maybe 6 or 8 months later, Irv would tap in with me on Instagram and like, yo, I seen it. I don't know who you are, but you did a crazy job telling my story. I appreciate you. Like, I would like you to come on board and work with me on my real documentary. So that's kind of how that whole thing came about.
Wow, man, the power of the internet, huh? Look at
Man,
that.
man, crazy. And the ill thing too, G BiZ, that the day that Irv tapped in with me was also the same day that I buried my mom. Man, I'm an only
Wow,
child, and
wow.
I had just lost my mother maybe a couple weeks prior to that, and just the day of the service that night, Irv would tap in with me on Instagram. Like, it's like serendipity or something, man. But it's like we was meant to be here.
Man, I understand that to the fullest, man. I too, number one, RIP to your mama, man. I know that pain. I buried my mother some years ago as well.
Mm.
And, doing it, I actually started, I told myself, if I was gonna do anything coming out of it, I wanted to create and I was gonna write. So I started writing sketch comedy and filming my own sketch videos, man. And lo and behold, doing that and following that passion is what got me here on air at KMEL. So when you talk
Yeah,
about, serendipity and just following your heart and doing those things, man, the creator, it'll bring it all together. I'm talking about the
all
universe,
together.
however you want to look at
Absolutely.
it. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
When something
man.
like that happens, it pushes you to either gonna fall off or you're gonna fall forward. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And it pushes you to really go after what you want to do and what you meant to do, which is why we both here in these positions today.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was already in the stars. I'm talking about we just had to go through the rough times to get to the sunlight. You
That's
feel me?
it. That's
I
it.
feel that. That's dope, man. So how was it connecting with Herb and like being able to just kind of piece together and weave together the story of like Murder Inc. Because I just watched that. I just watched the Drink Champs interview he did with Nori and them. So I'm assuming the story is crazy. Like,
Oh,
how was
listen,
that
man.
process, man?
I tell you, brother, the stuff that we had to leave on the cutting room floor, man, because it just wasn't enough time, or it was just too much, too hot for TV.
Yeah.
Man, let me tell you, Irv Gotti, all kidding aside, is probably one of the best storytellers in the game. Like, to me, it's him, Fat Joe, and really I don't know who else. Like, when it comes to hip hop storytelling, they can just tell a story. And
Yeah.
so, Irv, man, all the crazy stuff you hear about, coming up with Ja, with Jay-Z, with DMX, and them hustling and grinding to, get them to where they were, worldwide global superstars. It's just crazy, man. And to see that he still got that passion and that drive and that same energy today, You know, sometimes he may not always say the right thing at the right time, but you know, like he still got that same fire in his belly that he gonna take it there. And no matter what he's doing, if it's music or if it's movies or whatever, he's gonna take it to 1,000. You know what I'm saying? That's Irv.
Man, I was, like I said, man, I was just watching the Drink Champs. I was like, okay, let me see how he rock. And then as seeing Nori, he's a mad genius because he knows how it is. I mean, bro, you feel me? Like, you know, when brothers start sniffing, man, and we feeling good. It's not a threatening, you know, environment. You around the homies, you hanging, bro. You know, your tongue gonna be a little looser. You gonna go ahead and, you know, have those conversations, and you're gonna be open to talk to folks about that. So I mean, man, like even just watching that, how's the promo run been for this entire thing? I mean, I know he did Drink Champs, which was the big one that brought some controversy, but how was everything else going into this promo?
Man, it's good. You know, I think that was that was a big one for us, the Drink Champs thing. And you know, to me, it's like, okay, what was sometimes frustrating about the media is that they pick up on the clickbait and the controversial stuff so quick that they almost lose the jewels, you know. And but I just wish that in the promo run, it was more of an opportunity to really speak about the real legacy and the crazy, you know, journey that Irv and Murder Inc. had to take to get to where they were. Because it's a story, like we all got that story of hustling and grinding and trying to get to that next level. And that's what drew me to the story. That's what drew me to even want to create the Unauthorized thing in the first place. As a young creative and an entrepreneur, I always look to guys like Irv, guys like Jay or Dame, or, you know what I'm saying, like even 40 out here in the Bay, like guys that had that hustle and had that will and that drive to just make it no matter what. And that's hip hop, man. And that's what drew me to the story. And I hope that that's what people ultimately take out of this, and not just all the BS, but also let's get some, you know, get some inspiration and motivation for the culture.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, ditto that. I mean, a lot of the stuff he was talking about, even on the podcast, man, it was real stuff. You feel me? Just talking about how really just how the grind of music really is. You know, for a lot of folks, it seems like, oh well, that's Irv Gotti. You know, he's a multimillionaire and yada yada yada. Man, they was grinding. When he's talking about, man, I made 60 G's and I'm watching the label, you know, pulling in over 400 and something million for the year. I mean, that's music, bro. You're gonna take those lugs. You feel me?
Yeah, for real.
And just knowing how competitive those guys are, man, and how competitive they really were back in that day, just, you know, hits after hits. Because you don't really, I mean, you don't think about it now. When you look back, it's like, damn, like they really was going head to head. Jay-Z, he got a #1. DMX, he got a #1. Now Ja got to come with something. Then it was like, how do we stay not only relevant, but man, how do we eat? Right. When our competitors is literally, you know, coming back to back with just heat, man, that's hard.
It never stopped. And it was just, I mean, even Jay talks about this in the doc, in the doc, you know, how they were just all super competitive with each other. And it was like, they almost like steel sharp and steel, you know, when, oh, Ja's doing that. Oh, we got to do that. Oh, X is doing that. Oh, I'm about to do, you know what I mean? It's just that type of level of competition. I think it's healthy for hip hop. You know what I mean?
Now, with all the folks that y'all had sit down for this documentary, man, like you just said, Jay-Z, tell me some more people that you was able to chop it up with, and who would you say were some of the dopest folks that you got to interact with and just listen to and just soak up game from during this entire thing?
Oh man, I got I mean, obviously Jay, but I got Rule, Ja Rule, Irv, Nas. We got Nas in the doc. We got Charlemagne in the doc. We got, I mean, heavy hitters, Elliot Wilson from Rap Radar. We got so many heavy hitters, but I gotta say, just because we in the Bay, I gotta say a shout out to my man Davey D, who's my professor up there.
Davey, that's my guy.
That's my man right there. I was able to get him in and interview him, and he really just laid down the I like to say Davey was the consciousness of this doc, you know, because he was able to really sit there and give you the game, give you the real insight. Because Davey, he's like a walking hip hop encyclopedia, you know what I'm saying? So he could tell you stuff from, you know, that happened way back when and bring it all the way back to today and how it all connects. So that was one that was real special for me, man. Of course, Jay, you know, being, you know, the cool thing about interviewing Jay is that he actually put me through college at SF State. His scholarship foundation helped put me through through college. And
oh wow, that's dope.
yeah, ultimately led me to where I am today. To be in that room with him and looking him eye to eye, I couldn't wait to just tell him like, yo, man, I'm here because of you. And he was just so inspired by it that he put me on the phone with his moms, who runs his foundation.
Oh,
And
that's dope, man. That's hella dope.
oh man, it was just a great like full circle moment, man. So that was definitely one of the. I mean, they all were cool and they all have a special place, but that one right there just means like, if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't even be where I'm at today. So that was just so dope, man.
I mean, that's an amazing notch, but I'm proud. I'm happy for you. I'm talking about just to be able to interact and have that. Was Beyonce there?
Beyonce, and I wouldn't say she would either.
No, bro.
Nah, Beyonce wasn't
there. That's ill, man. So what are some of the neighborhoods y'all was able to like touch? Because I'm sure like you guys were able to, because of course when you talk about New York and talk about these cats, all these different boroughs, it's like it's very similar to like the Bay Area, right? Like, you touch down in San Jose, it's not going to be the same as San Francisco. You go to the city, it's not going to be the same as Oakland. It's not going to be the same as Vallejo. And I know out there from the Bronx to Brooklyn to all of those different areas, and especially knowing the central area for this story revolved around Queens, man. How was it interacting in terms of those different neighborhoods?
Oh, it was crazy because, we, like you said, we mostly zoned in on Queens, right? And a lot of people that we interviewed was from Queens. And it's something in the water. Queens reminds me a lot of Oakland. It reminds me a lot of the town, man. Like, it's just like the hustle and like I'm gonna get it regardless type of spirit type of, like, think about all the people that came out of Queens: Run DMC, Russell Simmons, Irv Gotti, LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? All these people that came out, Damon John from FUBU and Shark Tank, like all these guys came out of Queens, man. And like, and if you really look at it and really study it, Queens is a lot like Oakland, man. Just like I said, the hustle and the competitive nature, and like I'm gonna get it regardless if they paying attention or not. We're gonna get it. We're gonna bust our way through the door. So that was the most interesting thing that I found interacting with all these cats from New York. They're like, even people from outside of New York, they'll tell you like, yeah, Queens be getting it. You know what I'm saying?
I hear that, bro. It's say Prince Akeem didn't go there and come into America for no reason, bro. So they told him he was going to the mud. He went to the mud. That's what
all the way, yeah.
Right. Man, so
yeah, man.
Who do you feel like are some of the folks that you wish could have participated in this documentary that otherwise, weren't there but were a part of the story? I'm sure Ashanti, namely one. Yeah. But like, anybody else that you could think of that, like, you wish you would have seen could have been a part of this?
No, I'll say this. I think we pretty much got everybody we wanted. There might have been a couple that slipped through the cracks because of scheduling or whatever, but the main one obviously is Ashanti. We wanted Ashanti. I wanted Ashanti to participate in this, and I personally reached out and tried to be their bridge, but I think respectfully, they said they felt they weren't comfortable participating, and I respected it because they were very respectful, and they weren't like, nah, we ain't doing that. It's just like, nah, we got to kind of move differently right now. And they got something that's very personal and very deep between them, talking about Irv and Ashanti, and it just kind of sucks as a filmmaker and somebody who got a chance to tell this story. Ashanti contributed so much to the game, and it's so influential, and so like people still, it's very rare you see in this age of social media and just how fast everything moves, people still remember and people still love Ashanti to this day and still like hold her up, and they still love her. And just to not have that voice, and of course she's in it, and we definitely celebrate the wins and what she contributed to the game. But I really just, if I have one big regret, I just regret that we weren't able to get her to actually participate in like an interview form in the doc and really tell her story, and really get her shine that she deserved. But that's probably the biggest one. I'm like, damn, I wish we got that one.
Right. So I know we already had the first night, right? For folks who might not have seen it, or who are looking forward to the rest of it, what can we expect to get during this entire movement that's happening on BET with this Murder Inc. documentary?
Man, expect a hell of a ride, man. It's like episode 1 is cool. We got so much great feedback from episode 1. The fans love it, and it really tells the origin story of where Irv came from, and that, you know, how Murder Inc. was built up. And man, once you get into episode 2, 3, 4, and then ultimately with 5, you're gonna see the, you know, the real ups and downs. Episode 2, you really see how they blossomed and grew and you know, became this big worldwide thing that we grew up on. I grew up on that sound.
Yeah.
Honestly, Murder Inc. is the reason why I even got into the game of entertainment and wanting to be a part of this hip hop thing in the first place, to keep it 100%. And so you get to relive all those moments, all the hits, all that. But man, when it when ish gets real, it gets real. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see all that, and you get, I mean, people keep it. The thing I like about this thing so much, man, I hope people really appreciate, is that, yeah, and we all know Irv has a big voice, he has a big, you know, presence, and he's, you know, he has that presence. But people who are in this doc, the folks that we interview, everybody kept it so 100. Like, there's folks that saying stuff that you like, damn, he's gonna be, they know Irv was watching this, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, people kept it 100. And you're gonna see, you know, you get to see, you know, people really tell their truth about what they felt, what really happened when it came to, you know, the Feds raid, when it came to 50 Cent drama, when it comes to the Ashanti stuff. You have people keeping it 100% real about both sides, not just like it's not one side and oh, it's all Irv telling his side. No, you gonna have people on telling you like, nah, but he dropped the ball on this and he should have did this. So you don't really get a real dynamic, full-fledged story. It's not just no fluff, ain't no BS. Like, that's what you can expect from here for the next 4 weeks as we continue to grow this story.
What would you say is the wildest story you heard, man, during this whole thing that we might not catch on air? At least give me a nugget of it.
Oh,
you ain't gotta say who said it.
Oh man, you trying to get me?
I ain't trying to get you hemmed up, bro. Look, I just saw that Supreme Team documentary a couple weeks ago. So you ain't gotta say nothing that might.
Right.
Shout out to Supreme.
I mean, listen, there was a lot of you know, there's a lot of like what I you know, because I'm a music head, so I'm like, there's a lot of stories about how some of these songs were created, like the real intricate details about like, yo, this, like, you know, such and such was supposed to be on this record, and such, you know what I mean? And you know, because we're doing TV and it's 40 minutes of TV, you don't really get to get the whole story flushed out. So we end up leaving a lot of those stories, not a lot, but we end up leaving a few of those stories on the cutting room floor because it's just one room to tell it. But me as like a hip hop head and someone who cares so much about the music, that's the stuff that I regret. I'll give you one. It was you know, Irv talks about when JX and Ja were starting out back in the early 90s. This is real deep cut that nobody ever, well, people probably heard it now, but you know, it was very much a deep cut called Time to Build with JX and Ja, like the first record that they ever made, like in 1992 or 3 or something like that. And you get to hear how DMX and Jay were kind of going at each other on the record, because even back then they were so competitive with each other. They were like, even though they were brothers, but they were like, still like, I'm gonna get you. And so to hear the background story about some of these lyrics that even early on, before they were even great, before they even were who they were like, they were just coming at each other and really wanted that. They both knew that they was gonna be at the top, and they both was fighting for that top spot. So to hear stories like that, that's that, you know, those are some of the ones I wish we could have like really put in there. But maybe we'll release some deleted scenes at some point.
Yeah, you gotta drop something on us, man. You feel me? Maybe do it behind the scenes. You feel me? A special edition, something, and drop that for us, bro. So let everybody know what time they can check this thing out on BET, so they can you know, make sure they're there for every second of the Murder Inc. doc, man.
Yes, sir. So every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on BET. I think it streams on BET Plus the day after. Man, it's must-watch TV, man. I know a lot of y'all might have seen Drink Champs, but you get to actually see the stories flushed all the way out, and you get to see and hear the music and relive that era. Man, it's not a show, it's not a TV show, it's an experience, man. You get to really experience, for those of us who, you know, getting a little long in the tooth, we get to relive that era that we came from. For those who may not even be that aware, who may be younger, they get to see and explore all these nuggets and get some game about how some real, cats from the hood came up and met some adversity, but ultimately came back and on top of the world now. So it's a great story, man. I'm happy to get the opportunity to tell it as director and producer. And man, y'all just tune in Tuesdays at 9 p.m. on BET.
Hey, there it is, man. That's my guy, Michael J. Payton from Oakland, holding it down, director of the Murder, Inc. documentary, man. I appreciate your time, Playboy.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, G BiZ. Appreciate you. Shout out to 106 KMEL. I used to intern back here way back in the day.
Hey.
So talking about another full circle moment, man. You know what I mean? Town business, man. But
there you go.
Appreciate you, brother, and shout out to the whole Bay.
It's all love, man. You gotta let me know next time you got something rocking with BET, man. Even if I'm just an extra, let me stand in the background.
Oh, you know it, brother. Oh, you know it. We got some stuff.
All good.
I got you, man.
Right on, Chief. Be smooth, Mike.
Be smooth, man.